Hi, yes, I bought a item on eBay, untested. Here's the listing here. It was an auction, but I was the only one to bid on it. And as you can see, it's $92.12 out the door, including shipping. I'm interested in the 2000. I already have one, which is nice because I can use parts to diagnose. Plus I have extra chips and whatnot. As we can see by the description, the auction is for the Amiga 2000 computer with dual drives, sold as is, due to not being tested. Okay, so the thing about this that always scares me is, what would it take to test it and see if a light comes on? It wouldn't really take anything. I mean, everybody has a PC power cord laying around. Just plug it into the Amiga, turn it on, and see if the light comes on. So this can mean two things. Either the person actually didn't do that, which is odd, or they did it and there was no light. And then they would go back and say, oh, we didn't test it, just to give you the glimmer of hope that you would think that you were getting something that actually turns on. But I'm not saying that this seller did that. I'm just saying that when you have to be kind of suspicious when buying things off of eBay. Things are always worth more if you test them and they actually work, do something, have some kind of heartbeat. But in this case, the person said he didn't test it, so I guess we'll find out. I'm receiving this item today in the mail. I have not received it yet. So I'm filming this portion of it before I've received it, and then we'll continue after it. But let me just review the pictures with you. I'll maximize this. So these actually seem to be two legitimate Amiga 2000 or Amiga internal drives, which is, rare. Who knows if they work? But anyway, so it's not empty, so that's the reason why I was interested in it. Doing a search on the Amiga hardware database. Well, first of all, you can see that the drives, two different models, but a close inspection shows that this is very likely the original drive that came with it. It's like a Panasonic or something. And this other one, I don't think you can see the brand on it, but as you can see, there are two cards in here. And the next picture gives you a good indication about what they are. This one seems to have SIM modules on it, and it's a half-length card. So that's definitely a RAM card. There are so many of those made, different ones, that I wasn't sure which one it was, but the fact is that it's a RAM card. It probably has 2 megs on it, or it might be two 256 sticks, which makes it a half a meg, which I doubt. I think it's probably something like 2 megs. And this card right here, I thought at first maybe this card was a bridge board because it's sort of in the center, but if you look, there are, I believe they call it a bridge board. Bridge boards are designed to emulate an IBM. Not really emulate, it actually is a real 2 or 386 chip on a board that you put into the Amiga. And the slots, there are these slots that seem to span the entire length of the Amiga. And it's kind of like you want to think about this area up here as being the IBM side, because these are ISA slots. And this portion down here is to kind of the Amiga side, because these are Zorro 2 slots. So if you simply take a card that bridges between the Zorro and the ISA, it means that it's going to give you an emulation. It's also going to activate the card slots over here. These do not do anything unless you have a bridge board in, and these are standard ISA slots that you could put a modem in, or video card, or whatever, if you can get that old stuff. But obviously this card is not in one of those full-length slots, so my thinking that this was a bridge board was not correct. I went, okay, well, what's the most other likely thing it would be? It's got a couple ribbon cables coming off of it. It looks like this is an IDE cable. I think the SCSIs are a little wider. But anyway, so I looked at hard drive controllers, and the 2090, I believe, was the first one that came out, and it had very limited capability. It wasn't able to do auto boot. This is a 2090A, I believe. Yes, the 2090A. And then later on, the 2091 came out, and that was the one that had memory on it and also a space to actually put the hard drive. So this is the like the second version of the card. And you can tell that that's what it is because, let's see, which picture was it? Right here, it has boot ROM chips right here. And there's only one of the cards that has a DIP package on it in this location. So anyway, so that's a 2090A card, which does auto booting because it has its auto boot ROM. And let's see if we can see. I think this is just a Panasonic Amiga drive. I don't know what this one is. That's it. That's all for the pictures. So, does this work? Who knows? I mean, has the battery been clipped? Who knows? The person who's selling it may not know Amigas. You know, maybe that's a good reason to not have tested it. But anyway, I guess we'll find out when I get the box. I'll continue this video once I receive the box, and we'll do a box opening and we'll test it out. I think I'm going to be paranoid about it. I think I'm going to go ahead and unplug the power connector and go ahead and test it. Test the power supply first before I proceed. And then maybe just test continuity between the, test for resistance between the rails on the motherboard to make sure none of those are shorted so that the power supply doesn't mess up the motherboard, and so that the motherboard doesn't mess up the power supply. And obviously I'll immediately see if, examine the battery and see if it's still there and how bad it's leaked, and I'll get some good pictures of that. So anyway, I'll be back. The weird part about this is that you can see that the power and drive light mounting bracket is missing when the cover is on, and also that the cover isn't on all the way. It's not slid all the way back. Well, I was able to determine why that was. The power and drive LED bracket is actually in there. It's just in the wrong position. It's supposed to go up here so that it fits through the front of the case. So having known that and being fearful of the seller simply shipping that to me as is and likely causing damage if any sort of shock happens to this at all, I sent him a message. I said, hello, I'm glad that I won the Amiga. This thing might be tough to ship safely. I was just trying to be as diplomatic as I can. Maybe the guy's an expert shipper. Perhaps you have experience doing so. I said, the power and HDD LED holder is in the wrong position. If you remove it, the case will close properly. Please still include it. It's almost like I want to make sure he doesn't toss it away or whatever. It's old plastic, so if it clip breaks, I would prefer a broken clip on that part rather than something worse from a loose top. If you have a PC case screw or two, you can lock the lid in place to make your job easier and the package safer. Do what you can feel comfortable with. Thanks. Couldn't have been nicer about it. Hoping that the guy, but his response indicated, he just says, I will take precautions with it, no capitalization. So a quick message back to me, very quick, no punctuation or anything. Well, it remains to be seen. You know, basically I'm just approaching this as a person, not so much as spending my money or wasting my money on something that's broken, but really just the less damage we can do to these things, the better, because they don't make them anymore, and they never will. Even if somehow they did make them again, they wouldn't be the same. They wouldn't be the originals. So these, I just feel the value of these, and based upon the price that people are getting for them these days, other people do too. So as with something that is kind of pricey, I'm hoping that the packaging will reflect the fact that it's a $200 item and not, you know, I mean, 10 years ago, Amiga 500s were $50, and now they're $200 to $300. If you get everything with them, people are trying to ask for $250 to $300 for an Amiga 500 that works, it's tested or whatever, and has a modulator with it or something. Anyway, so we will be receiving this item soon, and we'll start the video again once I get the item. Okay, so here's our package, and I'm not super impressed. What is this? Frito-Lay. So this is about a box of potato chips. Here's our gap filling material. Okay. Good with disc. Good with disc. Good align W/disc. So there wasn't any protection for the top of the case. It looks like let's just have a look underneath. Okay, it's got some padding on the sides and the bottom, but none on the front or the back. So yes, as far as packing is concerned, bare minimum fail. Really, yeah. And oh, all right. Yes, there is indeed one screw in the back. It actually looks like an Amiga, original Amiga screw. Remember what they look like. Right. Yeah, it smells funny, like somewhat cigarette-y smell, if that's a word. Okay, we've got a screw on the side. Yeah, it's got a strange smell. That screw is not correct. It's like a self-tapper. All right. Yeah, man. It's got a weird smell. Okay, so this is the guy's idea. If you remember what I said to the guy, you know, if you could take off this piece, that would be good, because then you could close it properly and it wouldn't either ruin this or the front bezel. And I would say that I was somewhat ignored in that respect. Oh, okay, just loose inside there. Of course. Oh, this isn't even on there. This is just like shoved. Yes. Okay. Yeah, somebody just shoved this in here. I thought maybe there was a mount for it down low, but somebody just jammed it in there. I mean, hello? Does it not stay by itself anymore? Is that the problem? Well, at any rate. Okay, well. Yeah, it has a funny, musty smell. Yeah, the reflection of the drives is causing the camera to close its iris. Alrighty, well, yes. Okay, so there's a battery in there and it looks really bad. Yeah. What is this? What is that? All right, well, let's take the drive power supply assembly off. Man, it stinks. It smells funky. Yeah, there is a hard drive under here. Oof. There we go. And it's loose. I don't know how much of this you can see. There we go. Guess yeah, that's going to have a connection to the motherboard. An old school kickstart switcher. And a somewhat leaky battery. Not bad. It's got a little piezo speaker. Yes, A372. Okay, let's test some voltages here. Well, let's see if the thing blows up to begin with. Is that the fan making that noise? That didn't sound good. I'm going to stop this video here because I want to show the repair of the power supply in a separate video. Please be sure to click subscribe so you don't miss it. There will also be some follow-up videos about the Amiga 2000 motherboard. When I'm done, I intend to make this thing fully functional. Anyway, we'll see you soon.